Welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. I am in Porto, Portugal. Ancient city where port comes from. Anyway, look, I love Spain, I love Spain. And actually, Porto, Portugal seems to carry very similar charms to Spain. A little bit more rustic. And in some ways, because we're in a smaller city, a smaller town, it's a little bit more, I don't know, authentic. I don't really know. But anyway, I'm just eating the shit out of pastel de nata, which is like these Portuguese cream tarts. I've been eating the shit out of that. And I've been drinking the crap out of port wine. Okay, so Porto is where port wine comes from. This is the drink of this area, and today I am going to take you on a tour to Graham's Port. We're going to do a guided tour of the cellar. We're going to talk about the wines, but what I'm going to do is I might do some voiceovers because I don't want to be that fucking asshole that films and talks during a tour. That just makes me a real dick. So I'm going to do some voiceovers and I'm going to do a super premium old and rare tasting at the winery as well. Or is that called a winery or distillery? But anyway, I'll see you soon. All right, so we are here by the riverfront in Portugal and in Porto, shall I say. Look at that. Look at this architecture. Look at this scenery. Nothing like this around the world. You just can't get this around the world. Anyway, this here, that's where all of the port wineries are. And there's all these tasting rooms and cellars. We're going to be heading to Graham's over there, okay, somewhere around there. I think you can see in the distance over there. Anyway, I'm going to show you the cellars. I'm going to show you all of the ports that I try. But yeah, look at this. Only in Europe you get this fucking crazy shit. Look at that. Man, I love Europe. I do. I friggin' love Europe, man. So it's a little bit weird. We walked from central historical Porto to the tasting address they gave me. And it's like I'm in this residential area. And on top of the hill, we've literally climbed the highest point in this side, and it's right here. But it's obviously it's been here for, well, 200 fucking years. So it's been here for 200 years, and they've built up all around it, all these houses, modern housing, state housing, whatever it may be. And yeah, but it's right here. So there you go. Fantastic. It's about 1 hour walk. Holy shit balls. I am now ready to drink some port. I am ready to drink some port and get shit-faced. You can almost mistake it for not being in the middle of this residential area. In the summer, I can imagine all the grapevines will be pretty cool around here. But yep, we're walking into the lobby now. So we are here. Graham's, 200 years old, this port brand. So we are doing the super premium tawny tasting, where we get to try a 1997 single harvest, a 30-year-old and a 40-year-old. Okay, so I'm hoping that I'm able to talk about the port while I'm tasting them, but if not, we'll see what happens, okay? We'll see what happens. So this is a little bit of a museum. I'll take you through that now. So some vintage stuff here. Photos of, what used to be the processes. And these are the tools they use. These are the tools they use for the barrels and making port. But I think it also doubles as surgical tools in case you need to get a vasectomy. And here are some old bottles. Pretty exciting, actually. I don't know too much about port, I'll be honest. I don't know too much about port. All I know is that it tastes good, and the whiskey finished in a port barrel sucks ass. But anyway, I'll keep showing you as I see more. So the Symington family has owned Graham's for 200 years. They actually own 27 estates around the Douro Valley as well. So this family knows port like the back of their hand. I mean, that's intergenerational port making right there. So here are the barrels. And what makes it really fascinating is that to avoid temperatures getting too hot in the summer, they use that big basin of water, the spring water, and they flood the floor of the cellar to raise humidity and lower temperature. The soil they use to grow the grapes is schist, hand harvested, and they also sometimes some of the estates use they can't use machines to harvest it because the aisles are too small on these schist terraces. They use schist because the schist takes the sun's heat and it modulates it and regulates it throughout the night, so it doesn't get shock from the cooling and the extreme heating of the day. So they actually use these stampers to stamp their grapes, or they jump on it like this in some of the estates that they own. These massive barrels are for ruby port. Okay, so ruby port, LBV, means late bottle harvest. And then you have the other side, which is just a normal blended, topped up ruby port. No, this is from the 1940s, still in a barrel. And here are some of the oldest collections of bottles that they have. If it's vintage, they leave it, and they can leave it to age in the bottle. If it's not, it doesn't age in the bottle. This is the oldest vintage they have, 1868. 1868, and they have all these super ridiculous old bottlings. Absolutely amazing. So we're about to taste 3 super premium ports. One is a 1997 single harvest. We have a 30-year-old tawny and a 40-year-old tawny. How fucking exciting is this? It's not too bad. Cheers. So this is the 1997 single harvest tawny. Like a strawberry jam. Strawberry jam. A little bit like unripe guava. Quite sickly sweet on the nose. Very sickly sweet, but there's a power to it. There's a power to the nose of it. Like you can definitely smell the alcohol. How about the 30 tawny nose? That's got more of like an earthy, leathery smell to it. I'm not tasting them yet, I'm just sniffing. It's almost like it's got like a eucalyptus, like a Vicks Formula 44 smell. I know it sounds weird, but like a cough syrup. Then the 40. Oh, like wood varnish. It smells like wood varnish.
Before you get too tipsy.
So the entire time, I fucked this up by basically not turning on my mic what a clusterfuck. But anyway, this is the 1997 single harvest. The notes that I got from it was peppermint, green apple. It had a little astringency to it, a little dryness to it, even though it's sweet by nature, a little dryness to it. But it was quite a ballsy port, and it had quite a bit of power to it. So it's a single harvest, basically equivalent to a single barrel of what a whiskey would be, an independent barrel or single barrel. Very ballsy. This next one had tobacco, cedar, a little bit of pine cone, roasted nuts, a little earthy, some wet leather. This is a 30-year-old now. And this was a fantastic one. I actually found this to be the most palatable out of the lot, but I will sum that up later. But it is basically condensed berry jam, dark berries, not quite a strawberry, but dark berries. It had a lot more complexity and depth to the flavor, a little bit of burnt sugar, and of course liquid raisins. Fantastic. And last but not least, of course, I grabbed the 40-year-old. Okay, so the 40-year-old, at first when I tried it, I was like, I don't like this that much. It's not compared to the 30, but I decided to sit on the 40-year-old and give it the most respect and just sit on it and finish the glass without chopping and changing. And you know what? After three small sips, it started to really develop. It started to build on itself. It is definitely by far the most interesting of the lot. All the flavors are deeper. There's a lot more earth, a lot more tertiary flavors. It's basically the 30-year-old, but just developed into something else, a different animal. Like you get fungal, you've got some earth, wet soil, compost. But yeah, look, compared to the first one, this is just chalk and cheese. By any means, all of these are exceptionally good port wines. The first one, we're comparing good to great to super great. The first one was definitely very, very good. It was very exciting. It was robust. It was zesty. It pops. The flavor pops. The second one is the most palatable, and one could argue it is also the most boring, the 30-year-old, because it is so palatable that it's almost like, well, there's not much interest factor. But the 40, at first I didn't like it as much, but man, after I had it more, it was just building on itself. It was viscous, oily. It was just such a rounded body, but also such a ballsy body. Fantastic port wines. So in summary, I would pick the 30 instead of the 40 or the 1997 single harvest. The single harvest is can be quite astringent, very mushroomy. The 30 is the most palatable, but interest factor, the 40 is definitely there. And if you want something ballsy and strong, I think that the single harvest, the younger one, it's definitely got more character. So I guess single harvest, you're probably looking at like a single barrel equivalent for whiskey. Definitely more interesting, more character, ballsier. But look, overall, there's not a huge dramatic difference, not like whiskey. Obviously they blend them so they taper off the flavors, but man, what a delicious treat. Three glasses of vintage port, 1997, 30 and a 40 tawny. And the value is excellent as well. €65 for a cave tour, the cellar tour, and the 3 glasses. I would suspect that in a restaurant you would pay 35 to 45, 50 euro for a glass over the 40-year-old. So I think they're trying to get you to taste it so you can bring some home and buy the bottle, right? But great, fantastic tour. Anyway, until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. Cheers.